With Rhenosterkop being geographically fairly isolated, it also meant that the community escaped most of the ping pong madness. Until about a month, 6 weeks ago, when Bertie all of a sudden assumed the role of the official government representative, and he was beginning to harass the people about the ping pong regulations. It was at Crazy Dave's Boma that Rusty saw the two together, Bertie and Juju. Juju is a well-known politician that always stirs trouble wherever he goes. And she noted that the two of them were deep in conversation. But Crazy Dave was keeping his distance. He didn't want to get involved in politics. Rusty was there to collect a load of moonshine for delivery, and she decided to alert Kleinjan. Rusty's delivery route took her through Amarilla Gorge, and it was here in the gorge that she was confronted by a dead bull in the trail. She stopped and took a look at it, and she couldn't understand what was going on, but she was also not going to waste this opportunity. So she took her axe from a vehicle and she chopped the horns out of the skull. She loaded the horns on the bakkie, and there she go, directly to Kleinjan's workshop. Arriving there, she told him of what she saw at Dave's Boma with Bertie and Juju, and asked him if he could mount the horns for her on the front of the moonshine runner. Buffalo arrived at the workshop and immediately recognized the horns as that of one of his old bulls. What he could not understand is what and how did that bull get into Amarilla Gorge? That was something that he does not understand. Next, the two Zetros girls, Shireen and Ivana, arrived at the workshop, and they told Kleinjan what they saw in Amarilla Gorge. They were camping way up in the valley, surveying the habitat for the bees, when they heard a vehicle come up the gorge just after sunset. The vehicle stopped and it was quiet. And then about half an hour later, another vehicle came up the gorge and reached the point where that first vehicle stopped, and it stopped. Next, they heard a lot of angry voices, but it was too far away for them to distinguish anything. And after a while, it went quiet, and then they heard one vehicle leave. This morning, they went to have a look, and they found the dead bull, and they also saw Bertie's vehicle behind some bushes next to the road. Well, they just took one look around and got into their vehicle and came back to the village immediately. Later on, Wilhelmina arrived at the workshop, and she told Kleinjan that the previous day, Bertie and Juju was at the guest house harassing her personnel about masks and jabs and all types of COVID regulations and things. And then when they left, one of the workers heard them saying that they were on their way to Buffelsfontein now. Now that could only be a problem, because old Buffalo is definitely not going to tolerate this type of nonsense on his farm. She then added that Bertie did not come back last night. He rents one of her bungalows, and when she went to bed at 11, he was not there. And she does not understand that, because he's always at night, very early, he's in his bungalow. They decided to go and discuss this with JC. And Kleinjan said to him that he has got a funny feeling that Buffalo knows more than what he is saying to him. But things just does not look right and sound right. What is of concern is the fact that Bertie is apparently gone, and with him, Juju. What happened to the two men? That was when Spikes arrived and told them what he found at the foot of Donkey Heights. He was on his way to deliver stuff to the Soak and Sizzle, and when he stopped for a smoke break at the bottom of Donkey Heights, he could hear a lot of screaming. And on closer investigation, he found the two men wrapped up in tarpaulins and tied to some bushes next to a big rock. He unwrapped them and untied them, and then they told him that they were ambushed the previous night in Amarilla Gorge and have been there for the night and the best part of the day. Now, he couldn't do much. All he did is he loaded them on the back and he dropped them off at the Soak and Sizzle. What really happened, he does not care. As Spikes left, Klein-Jan looked at JC and just smiled, and he reminded him of what happened at Nina's bakery. This whole thing has got Buffelsfontein written all over it. We'll just have to wait and see. Let's hear what the two rascals have to say when they have calmed their nerves down.